Let's see here. This is getting set up, so just bear with me, guys. Okay. All right. We are live. How's everybody doing today? Andrew, what's up, man? Let me see here. Oh, there we go. Rigoberto, hey, how's it going? Can you guys hear me okay? Just let me know. Okay, excellent. How's everybody doing tonight? Cool. Thanks, guys. All right, so what's everybody doing? Everybody go see Star Wars? What did you think? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Andrew. I know you've been dealing with some stuff, but I'm glad you can stick around, hang out with us. Okay. You haven't seen it yet? Okay. How are things going over at the UK? It's getting cold over here. Hey, Carl. Thank you. Yeah, same here. Wet and cold, absolutely. So I got like 3 different screens on here, but just playing around with the camera a little bit, so just pardon me. Okay. You love the sequel trilogy? It's okay. Yeah, I'll talk about Rise of Skywalker in a little bit when we get get some more people in here so we can dive right in and talk about it. Film's got some problems, but it has some fun stuff too. Did I like the Rambo Steelbook? Yes, I did. I thought it was cool. I like the Steelbook a lot. It's not going to be like my top 10 of 2019 as far as the design goes, but it's really cool. I like the black and the silver contrast. It really looks good. So is everybody getting ready for the holidays over there? It's like, man, like this year is going by so fast. Happy New Year. What am I getting for Christmas? I don't know. It's my #1 movie of 2019. Well, that would be telling, but it's pretty obvious. It's Avengers Endgame. That's my favorite movie of the year. I'm going to be doing my top 10s of best of 2019, worst of 2019, Steelbooks, Blu Rays, everything. Those are coming up in the next week or so. Favorite Christmas movies? Christmas Vacation is one of my favorites. Oh, thanks, Henry. Thank you, man. You know, Christmas Story. I haven't watched that one in a while, a few years, but I like Christmas Story. I like Christmas Vacation, Polar Express, some of the Muppet Christmas movies. There's probably a ton I'm not even thinking of. But yeah, Endgame, I loved Endgame. Like that, I know it's no big surprise. That's my number one of the year. John Wick 3, Joker. Yeah, I will say Joker's definitely on one of my lists. I'm not going to tell you which one yet, but see, I'm going to have two separate videos. I'm going to do my favorite movies of 2019 and what I think are the best movies of 2019. Believe it or not, those are not like interchangeable. I think certain movies are well done, better made than what I would consider like a favorite. So I thought about just doing one video and trying to mash them, but I'm just going to do two top 10 lists because I think it's fair. I think definitely they deserve their own time to shine. I love Joker though. John Wick 3. John Wick 3 was good, but I felt John Wick 2 was a little better. I'm excited for John Wick 4. I can't believe that this is going to change, but I know they're going to be doing. They're supposed to be releasing John Wick 4 and Matrix 4 on the same day. Somebody's going to blink on that one. They may not do that for a while because they're getting kind of fun press right now. Like, oh, they're both opening the same day. Let's make it a Keanu Reeves day. But I think they're gonna change it up. Godzilla was my number one movie for real. No, no, it wasn't. I liked it a lot, but that's going to be on a list. So, also going back, it's so yes, my best of, my favorites, and then I'm also doing worst of and disappointment films. So I'm really, really stretching it out. I can't wait for Godzilla versus Kong though. Yeah, I heard about the all-female Fight Club remake. Um, sure, let's see it. Let's see what happens. Because I don't know. When you start out the gate saying we're making a movie and it's going to be a gender swap, that's just you're already putting a label on it. Um, yeah, the Godzilla set is nice. I still don't have it yet, but that's on my short list. I really want to get it. Hey, you know what? If you liked Dark Phoenix, good man. Like it definitely looks great, and it's a fun movie. I would love to do live videos every weekend, but sometimes I'm not here. I'm out with my wife or whatever. We're doing stuff, so I can't promise like a weekly thing. But you know what? If I get enough people subscribe to the channel and enough people really want me to do it, I think we could work something like that out. I would like to do it more. Yeah, feel free to ask any. Oh, hello, my dear Frank. Chris, what's up, man? I know you liked Rise of Skywalker. We'll talk about that in person, or we'll talk soon about that one. Rise of Skywalker. Well, I'm gonna go at least one more time with my wife. She hasn't seen it yet, but at least one more time, and I might squeeze in a third if I really think it needs a third time. Otherwise, I'll just wait for the 4K. Spider-Man: Far From Home was one of my faves in Endgame. What did you think of Rise of Skywalker compared to the other two? I'm gonna jump into that in just a few minutes. I really want to like talk about the movie. I'm just waiting to see. If not, I want to see more people come on, and then we can like really talk about it. Caleb says, "Are you more excited for Wonder Woman 1984 Black Widow?" I would have said Wonder Woman before, but that 1984 Wonder Woman trailer looks fantastic. That looks like it's going to be good. I'm excited equally for both, though, but I think right now the edge would go to Wonder Woman. Yes, Mr. Butler. I'm going to see 1917. I'm really going to try to go see that in 4DX if I can, because I think that movie would really be amazing in 4DX. Tom says, "Does my wife support your movie collecting?" Yes, she does. She's awesome about it. She's probably watching right now. Yeah, I did see. All right, did I watch Midway the movie? I liked it a lot. It was very empty calories kind of war movie, but it was fun, and then it's going to be a good contender for like a good home theater demo disc. So I'm anxious to pick that up just because of that reason. But I liked it. I liked it. It was weird. Like I felt like they could have done more with the actual battle of Midway, and like instead they kind of cut the best parts at the end, and then all of a sudden everybody's back on the aircraft carrier, and it just felt like there was too much lead in. They focused a lot on that, but I'm anxious to like check that out again. I had a good time with that one. Is Black Christmas gonna be on my best of the year? No. But to be fair to the Black Christmas remake, I'm not even going to see it. I'm not going to waste my time. Like, eh. Well, the difference between Midway and 1917 is obviously they're both different wars, and that's more aerial based and that kind of thing. But 1917, that's really the First World War is largely unexplored to like cinema. They have some films, even the original Wonder Woman had that as a background, but they don't really do movies about World War One much. I'm excited in that alone because let's face it, they've done World War Two to death, and while a lot of these films are good, I want to see other war stuff. Vietnam and World War Two I think are the most overused as far as like a Hollywood film goes, but we never see anything like from World War One. It's rare when we do see it, but I'm excited for that. Am I looking forward to The Grudge? Uh, cautiously optimistic about that one, but I don't seem to have the best of luck with January and horror films. Usually, like they're some of the worst ones they put out there. Yeah, it is sad. I know we talked about this before, Chris. They need to explore it more. I really believe that. I think there's a lot of cool stories out there that really could just be explored and just not feel like you're retreading World War II all over again. Favorite Star Wars character? Still Darth Vader, I think. He was always been like one of my favorites, but I don't like what they've kind of done with him as far as the new. They talk about like in the new trilogy, they kind of I don't know they demystify him a little bit as far as that goes, and then in the comic books they practically nerf him to death. And for me, Darth Vader's always been like a badass, and when I don't like how they treat him nowadays, but yeah, he's still my favorite. Thanks, Tony. And my favorite actor, mm, I don't know, that's a hard one. Like, there's tons I like, but I don't know if I really have a favorite. It kind of, if I do, it kind of like varies like frequently. But yeah, for me, I'm more attracted to directors. Like, a director will get me into a movie more than an actor will. I think there's a few actors that still works with me. Like Tom Hanks, I think is one of them, and I would say nowadays Christian Bale will be enough to get me in the theater because he does such a great job. Ford versus Ferrari was, I thought, epic. It was a really good film, but I'm more director focused on that. No, okay, no, I did post an announcement video for Angels Fallen, but I need to catch up on those ones because I saw the first one, but still haven't seen the second one, still haven't seen the third one. I would like to get to that one. Honestly, maybe when things slow down a little bit in the new year, I'll hop on that one. But I do want to see it, and apparently they're making more, so I might as well like embrace it. Um, the new releases, yeah, I do. I get what you're saying about the deals, but because those are so timely, I try to like move that stuff like that over onto either my community page here on the channel or Instagram or Twitter because like that information is outdated quickly because they like this past week, I mean a lot of it's due to the holidays that they had a lot of great 24-hour sales and it's not like I can hop on a video and do a 24-hour sale because then it's instantly like it's going to be an old video. So like if you really want like I'm really trying to embrace that stuff. But just check like Instagram community board and Twitter for that stuff. Andrew, yeah, they're going to be spoilers. I'm going to wait a little bit to talk about the spoilers. So it's like 7:15. Maybe in about 30 minutes, I'll start talking spoilers about it. But we can talk about everything else before that, and then I'll dive right into that. So I'll let you guys know when I'm jumping into spoilers. What else is going on, fellas? Thank you guys again. Yeah, 3,000 subscribers is amazing. I never thought I really would get that way. I thought I'd kind of stall out, honestly, around 500, and that would be like where I would cap. But I'm really grateful for you guys for supporting me over here. It's pretty awesome. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I'm not going to talk spoilers right now, but I'll just give you my overall impressions of Rise of Skywalker. Um, there, there's so much potential they could have done, and I know the whole thing has been very just poorly handled, and I'm talking everything from Force Awakens to Last Jedi to this. And I know they were trying to pull themselves out of a nosedive, but I think doing so, they were trying. I don't think they were trying to make a good movie, and it's okay. But and I definitely need to see it a couple more times. But I there's definitely some issues which I'm going to talk about in spoilers. But I think overall, it's it's a Star Wars movie. I'm glad we got one, but you couldn't help but think that there were some uh, like missed opportunities. My favorite steelbook of 2019 will be a video in about a week. All my 2019 best ofs, worst ofs, like there's going to be a lot of these videos coming in the next from now until the first of the year. That is definitely a video for top 10 steelbooks. I actually haven't settled on one. There's actually two or three that are in the running, but yeah, so that video is coming like really soon. Aren't there issues in most of them though? Yes. But like I said, I really want to talk about it, but I can't obviously right now. But yeah, there are some problems in all of them, and dialogue being cheesy from every movie. I'm not even picking on that. Just overall narrative choices I would have made differently. No, I haven't seen They Shall Not Be Forgotten yet. That is on a list, somewhere's list. But I do want to check that out. I know that it's like I love documentaries, so I'm excited for that one. In fact, when I was watching the Mr. Rogers documentary, that came up, and I'm like, yes, I absolutely want to see that. But the problem with documentaries is like they almost kind of leave my brain a little bit after. But I'm that is on my list. Honestly, I really want to see it. I heard it's good. I'm really checking. Want to check that out. Oh, you mean Barnes and Noble? Yeah, I will of course let everybody know when the next Barnes and Noble Criterion sale will be. That now I think Criterion's going to have a 24-hour sale sometime in February. They usually do it around I would say Valentine's Day ish. And then, of course, we're going to hit the Criterion July sale. So, you know, I will let you know. I always post videos about that. I wish your shopping guide on Tuesday was a little bit longer. Um, yeah, well, the problem, like, I try to keep, you got to really balance time, I think, because once you start reaching certain times, then people kind of like don't keep watching. So I try to keep it around 10 to 15 minutes for the shopping videos. And also a big part of that is that there's really nothing beyond, at least where I live, there's not a lot of, because I, believe it or not, from time I leave the house and start shopping, that can easily be a 4 hour turnaround at least. And that's just including Best Buy, Target, Walmart, and then sometimes I have to go to additional Targets or Walmarts and find something. So, you know, and you can't leave too early. So if I leave at like 8 a.m. or 9 a.m., nobody's going to have anything out. And then I could use that extra time to go somewhere else. But a lot of these stores don't put out their stuff at least until midday, like noon, 1 o'clock is I find the magic time. So I want to do extra bonus shopping videos where I do the other stores that are, because there's a great, it's kind of a secondhand, but it's like a mixture of secondhand new stuff. It's called Second and Charles, and they have great stuff there. And the only problem is it's about an hour and 15 minutes away from my house. So hitting that weekly is just not going to happen. It's just not feasible. But I want to do more stuff like that. But those are going to be like more bonus shopping videos. I'm going to try to do those more. You know, at least once a month, maybe twice a month. Go there. You know, hit up Big Lots, hit up Five Belows, thrift stores. Although around here the thrift stores don't usually have much. But I'm going to try to do more of those. But I have to kind of keep to the big three on Tuesdays, because otherwise you're not getting shopping videos until like 8 o'clock at night, and you know that's just too late for that. How many Criterions do I own? I would say about 40, maybe a little bit more. Am I excited for all the 3,000 Avatar sequels? Do you think they will beat the end game for box office gross? Um, I kind of have thoughts on that. I think a lot of people forget that Avatar without the 3D would not do near the amount of the business that it has. It's a basic story. It's been remade 100 times as far as like what they did. I think they're going to look great. I think they're going to be awesome. I don't think they're going to come anywhere close to Endgame. But what Cameron did was because he had a movie and he utilized new technology for the cinema experience. Unless he can duplicate that and get people in theaters, I don't see it happening. I just don't see it. I'm excited to see them though. Thanks, Rigoberto. I appreciate that. Yeah, guys, like all that. Hit the thumbs up. Let's do it. Alex wants to know if you like, love, or shake your head at Baby Yoda. I love Baby Yoda. I just watched. I was at the beach for the last couple of days. I just got home today, and I watched one of the first things I did was watch The Mandalorian. Oh, I love Baby Yoda. I do. I can't wait till the last episode. Do you have separate section for your steelbook? No. I just try to blend everything in these shelves, all my Blu-ray stuff. The Marvel collection is almost 99%. It is 99% steelbook. It's just that pesky Incredible Hulk never got a steelbook from Universal. Come on, guys, get on that. But no, I just keep them blended in with everything. Otherwise, I would never find anything because the collection is getting so large that I would forget, like, oh, did I have a steelbook? So I got to find a steelbook. No, it's just straight alphabetical 4K, alphabetical Blu-ray. The Marvel stuff is in its own section, and 3D has its own section, and Criterion has its own section. So that's how. Do I use Plex? No, I don't. Well, Chris, tell Alex I said hi. What are some of your non-spoilery thoughts on Star Wars or on Rise of Skywalker? Let's get a general feel for the room here. Ziggy says Dune 2020 in December. I I can't wait for that because I'm a huge fan of the director. Oscar Isaac's in it, I believe, and I'm excited for this one. But I don't. I unfortunately think that the property is not going to do well as far as the theater goes because it's just like Blade Runner. While it's smart science fiction, they really have to grab people, and I'm afraid that that's going to be kind of overlooked, and it sucks because I would love the complete Dune collection on like film. I think it would be amazing. Yeah, you know what? Faster cuts than that goes to like the first hour of the film. I feel is massive, just quick cuts for story, moving the story along. It really felt like that first hour, everything was on 2 times speed just to get story and everything set up. You start making changes to what came before, setting up what's going to happen in the rest of your movie, and it felt like it was just moving at 2 times speed. It was like an odd thing, and then it slows down a little bit, and then it does what it does. Am I excited at the movie release of Fantasy Island? Like there's a new one, right? Um, Honestly, I gotta look into that more. I know I'm really starting to put together like things that are coming out in 2020. I'm doing videos on those, so I'm gonna look into that. I'll say something about that later. I want to see Richard Jewell. I may sneak out to the theater sometime this week to see it. I haven't had a chance to. I was on vacation this week, went to the beach, so I didn't really get a chance. The only thing I got to see was Star Wars. But Richard Jewell, I do want to see it. I'm a huge Eastwood fan, especially when he directs. So that actually looks good. I can't wait to check that one out. And I still want to see Bombshell too. That just came out this week. I am not going to see Cats. There's no way I'm going to see that. Yeah, one of the problems with Dune, it's so freaking long. You know, if you think about that, they had to make 2 movies to properly do justice to um, Stephen King's It. You imagine they would have to do 2 movies at least. You'd almost have to do trilogies for every book. So I don't know. They might have to just completely just use like inspired by thing. That way, it's not a word for word remake. Yeah, a Dune series on like HBO or something. I feel would be the best way. I know they did a mini series. I actually watched that. I like parts of it. But yeah, I feel that for the amount of material, and if you really want to you make all like the books into like film, I think a series honestly is better equipped for that material. You're really surprised that I hit 3K subscribers. Thanks. I was very surprised too. I think a lot of it is, I think the algorithm from YouTube is starting to work a little bit more in my favor. And there was a video I did a couple weeks ago that, as of right now, has like 18,000 subscribe or views on it, and that's why I still love Blu Ray. So I think because, you know, comments and all that stuff really affect the algorithm. That's where I think, because I'm already, like, I just hit 3,000 what, eight or 9 days ago, and I'm already like 33 something right now, and that's nuts for me. That's really good. So I'm really hoping the algorithm's starting to play catch up, and I get, you know, higher subscriber count, because that'd be great. I would love to see a Snyder cut of Justice League. You know, I wish they would stop talking about it and actually do it. So yeah, if that came out, I would watch it. I would, because I don't like what the current Justice League looks like. I think it had just, yeah, you know what? It's basically Star Wars all over again. It had some great moments, but narratively, kind of a mess. So yeah, Snyder cut all the way. Do I think J.J. Abrams should have just did every entry in the new trilogy? Yeah. It may not have been as, like, as far as filmmaking goes, it may not have been the most inspiring looking, or, you know, other than lens flare every 5 seconds, but I think it would have had a more cohesive narrative. And it sucks that, look, they didn't have a plan. They've actually gone out on countless interviews and said, we don't have a plan for this. Really? You don't have a plan for the most iconic franchise in cinema? You don't have a plan. Do whatever you want. You know, and I can't even blame Rian Johnson for this. Like, they don't have a plan. Do whatever you want. All right, sure, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to make Luke a hermit who hates Jedi stuff. I'm like, that's what happens when there's no Kevin Feige at the wheel. You need a Feige. And if rumors, what I'm hearing, are true, we may get the Feige over at Star Wars. What can I tell you on a movie, on Stallone movie, Bullet to the Head? Not much, actually. I think I've heard of something about that, but I don't know enough yet. Like I said, I'm really going to start diving into 2020 stuff fairly soon. JJ invests too much into fan service. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, and Rian Johnson is the complete opposite. He's like, I think fan service is bad. There needs to be a middle ground. You need to make an original story and not rely on callbacks, winks to the camera, all that other stuff. Make an original story. We know it's already set in Star Wars. You can still have a fan service moment in there, but don't, you know, don't rule it out completely. Just, but don't, like, overburden it with it. There was a lot of that in Rise of Skywalker, and it just kind of, it was one of the problems. J.J. Abrams' Star Wars in a nutshell would be just lightsabers and lens flares. I'd be okay with the lightsabers. That to me is Star Wars. I was never a, like, it's space battles, aliens, lightsabers, Jedi. That to me is Star Wars. I, you can balance it out. You can be cool, but still have a good story to tell. You know, that's really what it is. If they ever did, like, I know they kind of touch on it a little bit in Solo, where it's more about just the normal people. That to me is fine, but I want to leave. I'm a lightsabers. You know, I'm all about it. But that to me is what it is. I know there's like a lot of people that are more like, you know, Han Solo fans, and the ships, in while they're cool, they are just kind of like been done. You know, but I like good fights. You know. Rogue One is awesome. I cannot wait for that to come out in 4K, because apparently it's coming out day and date with the box set trilogy, which is tentatively slated for March 31st. So all the films, not the original cuts, unfortunately, but special editions, prequel trilogy, and sequel trilogy are all coming out on March 31st. So, but I think Rogue One apparently is going to come out also that day in 4K, and then I don't know if they're going to do reissues of Solo, but I guess we'll find out. You know what? Absolutely had fan service with purpose, Rogue One, and it was the right amount. And it just, once again, we never really had a film where Vader has been kicking ass. Why has that not happened? Why are they so afraid to do that? And we got a great scene in Rogue One, and I felt that it serviced the story. It was cool to see. We all wanted it, yes, but it actually serviced the story, and I really enjoyed that. Yeah, it's funny because like all the people that grew up on the original trilogy, like myself, have the original trilogy. You know, a lot of us didn't like the prequels, but the prequels are also a lot of kids grew up with that, and now they're in their 20s, and there's always going to be a next generation thing, but there's ways to do it where it includes all fans, not just we got to cater to these fans. And it's just I always found it odd that Disney kind of doesn't want to do that. They really kind of, I know they kind of do a little bit, with theme parks, but even at the theme parks, Galaxy Edge is all new stuff. I found that shocking. Actually, my ideal for the theme parks, and you can do this in Florida, you can't do this in California, but do Galaxy Edge, you got Batu, then do a prequel land, and then do an original trilogy land. You would be printing money at that damn park because you'd have three separates. They have the room, they can do it. You've just now solved your problem. You go to these parks, you don't want to go into Batu, you don't want to go into prequel land, go into original trilogy area. Pick a location in each trilogy, and you've got a mint. Thank you, Corporal Hicks. Appreciate that, man. To those people that don't like Rise of Skywalker, do you think it's because of Last Jedi? Speaking for me personally, no. And I don't know. I think it's just more or less because they went into the whole new sequel trilogy without an overall arc, and they were making it up as they went along, literally. That's why I'm having a problem with the sequel trilogy. And I'm going to talk about Rise of Skywalker and all the spoiler stuff in just a little bit, but it's not because of the Last Jedi, and it's my problems with Last Jedi was not because of the Force Awakens. It's a little. There's plenty of blame to go around. I always thought that they should have made. Now, a comic came out years ago. It was a one shot for Star Wars that it was called. What was it called? Star Wars: The Purge or Purge. That should have been a movie. I want to see Vader hunting Jedi for 2.5 hours. You give me that, probably the best movie ever made. Honestly, it really would be. But I know it's like they want to use them sparingly. It's like we want to use the Joker over in Batman sparingly. We want to, just use this character because they're so popular. We don't want to burn them out. Come on, give me a break. Apparently like your creative outlets are telling you something different than the rest of us want. It's a shame. Oh, don't forget, guys, I'm going to be announcing the winner of the giveaway. I already have them selected. I'll at the top of the hour, I will announce the winner, and then we'll talk about spoilers for Rise of Skywalker. So we'll do it right after that. So let's say 8 o'clock Eastern time, about 20 minutes. I'll do the giveaway winner, and then we'll talk spoilers. Yeah, Joker was a good movie. For first rated R movie to hit a billion, I believe. Joker was intense, absolutely. Oh, hold on, I'm just gonna adjust this a little bit. There we go. Lucas asked, "Do I like Batman v Superman?" I like the director's cut of that, not the theatrical cut. The theatrical cut I was very disappointed in. I think that extended cut really gave that, it fleshed everything out, and I really enjoyed it. But the not the theatrical though. I should do a video on that one day, like director's cuts or extended editions that made the movie better and some that made the movie worse. I think that would be a good video topic. The music in Joker was good. It was good. And I always said that, obviously they're playing down the whole sequel thing for Joker, but I know I have ideas on where that one would go, and I would love to see a Joker movie where Batman is the villain, not villain, but from his perspective. I want to see a Joker Batman movie that Batman is the villain per se from his perspective. That would be kind of cool. Do you think the 4K Saga will have Dolby Vision? Dolby Vision, no. I'd be very surprised if it did. I think they're going to try to leave that for, like the streaming, sure, whatever. But I think that HDR is best we're probably going to get on that. I always tell people watch theatrical Blade Runner first, then Final Cut. Yeah, definitely. That's good advice, actually. Am I going to do a top 10 4K discs of the year list? Absolutely. It's coming out in about a week. I'm going to start. I have top 10 4K discs overall as far as picture quality audio, steelbooks. I think I'm even doing a slipcover version. But yeah, those top 10 lists are all coming. I think I have the first one ready to go for tomorrow, but I'm going to hold off until after Christmas because then I can just start like nailing them out because I have a whole bunch of stuff coming between now and Tuesday, including the shopping video. And then everybody do Christmas. And then I'm going to start list. So it's all coming. It's coming soon. Mark Hamill is the Joker. Yes, he is. And there's great interpretations of the Joker, but he's still my favorite. What's my favorite steelbook that I have? Oh, I don't know. That's actually a good question. I don't know. Let me think about that. If I think about it, I'll let you know. Is Lieutenant Gordon in Joker? Um, I honestly can't remember if they refer to him in that. I've only seen Joker once. I'm going to be doing the digital review for that in Monday. So yeah, I don't remember if he was part of that. I want to say he was mentioned or something or part. Can't quite remember. It's been a while since I saw the Joker. Why they didn't put audio dialogue in Blade Runner Final Cut stuns me in. Oh, like a commentary? I don't know. Didn't they have a commentary for one of the cuts? But they can't do it separates. I mean, that's just way too time consuming. Because there's like 4 or 5 editions of that movie. So I think they did an initial cut audio track for that one, but I don't think they went back to do a new one. Hey Chris, be safe, man. Talk to you later, and tell Kat I said hi. Yeah, Ben Affleck was okay as Batman. Uh, wasn't my favorite Batman, not nowhere close even, but I still enjoyed him. He was very beefy, like kind of definitely had that Dark Knight Frank Miller beefiness to him, and I thought that was cool. It's really going to be very weird going from like him to Robert Pattinson, but we'll see. Hey, I was kind of I never say never on these things. I was not expecting Joker to do well whatsoever, and I really just my instinct is to not say that Robert Pattinson is going to make a good Batman, but I'm going to wait and see. Been proven wrong enough this year, so. Which Home Alone movie's the best? The first one. I know. I never really. Second one's okay, but I don't like movies that are basically copies of the original. That all you do is remove them to a different location, and that woman should seriously have Child Protection Services have taken Kevin away like easily. But no, the first one was good. I never saw the remake reboot of three. I guess I don't know why even they called it three, but yeah, the first one's the best. Oh, and also the newest one of Home Alone, Rambo: Last Blood, was amazing. So yeah, that one. You know what? That one's the best. Do I consider Die Hard a Christmas movie? I was literally having the same conversation with my wife earlier today. Sure. It's an action movie. It takes place at Christmas, and I did a video a couple weeks ago about movies that are secretly Christmas movies. This was number one. So yeah, it's a Christmas movie. My favorite Spider-Man movie is still Spider-Man 2, and followed by Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I think are my top two. I still think the Sam Raimi second one holds up exceptionally well. Doc Ock I think is the best villain in all of them. And I would put probably Keaton's Vulture as number two. Yeah, Lethal Weapon is absolutely a Christmas movie. And I was kind of, I did that video and I was kind of kicking myself. I should have like put that in there as far as, as like an honorable mention or something. Man, it has been a minute since I've seen Reindeer Games. That's been a long time. I think the last time I saw that it was a DVD that I had. I saw that movie, and I really got to revisit that one. Yeah, it's so good that both those Home Alones are on Disney Plus. I still have the. I'm probably gonna watch the first one sometime in the next day or two. I really want to watch that one this year. And and also if you're interested in the kind of story, Netflix has that show like the movies that made us, and it's only got like 4 episodes, and they do Home Alone, and it's actually a really interesting story. So check that out on Netflix if you get a chance. I'm thinking about doing a a video sometime in January, and it's funny because we're talking about just some older movies. I want to do a video about movies that you feel that you've outgrown. And I think that would be very interesting kind of list, at least for me personally, because there's a bunch that I loved growing up. I watched them all the time, and it just kind of, you don't go back to them ever. Like you're aware of them, you probably know them very well, but you're not so inclined. So I think movies that you might have outgrown would make a good video. So what are some ideas that you guys have? All right, Ziggy. Yes, that video is coming. I promise. That is coming. I have a couple days in January that I don't have anything really on the calendar, so it's coming. All right. Spoiler alert: there's probably going to be like some currently available criterions. I've also been going like back and watching a lot of black and white stuff, so that video is coming. It is coming in January. Oh, I love Kevin Smith stuff. I'm very happy that the Jay and Silent Bob reboot's getting a Blu-ray in January, I believe it's coming out. So yeah, I mean, come on, the Ben Affleck is the guy from Fashionable Male, so absolutely, I'm I'm a fan. Honestly, I love the Kevin Smith stuff. Masters of the Universe. That's another one. That's kind of underappreciated. I mean, Franklin Jella as Skeletor. Come on, what's not to love about that? I love Scrooged. Fun story about Scrooged. That movie came out, what was it, 1989, 88, when that movie came out? My one of the kids that I was sort of friends with in 6th grade has a as a extras part in that movie. And there's an even funnier story be from that one. So this kid got this, like, he's got a really prominent role next to uh, Bill Murray. Doesn't have any lines or anything, but he's on screen for a good 5, 6, 7 seconds, and he's sitting next to Bill Murray. And the funny part is how we got that part is his 6th grade teacher was like enamored with this kid, even to like inappropriate levels. I would, just to the point where like if that were to happen today, everybody would be like up in arms. But like she thought this kid was so good looking that she knew like an agent or something that got him that walk on role. Like it's not just like he was in the background or something. He's on screen for like 7 seconds at least. So I was thinking that when I watched that movie, I was like, oh, there he is. It's like, it's funny though. Like she was just like, thought this kid was so good looking. He's like 10, like we're 10 at that point. So it's just kind of funny. Sin City is a great black and white film. Yeah, it counts. It's black and white. So I'm counting it. Absolutely. What do you think of How the Grinch Stole Christmas with Jim Carrey? It's probably not the popular opinion, but I never liked it. I thought, I don't know, even at that time when that came out, I always felt that was too Hollywood. I like Jim Carrey, but he's very hit or miss with me. And this one for me was a complete miss. It looks like it's nice to look at. Like if I could put that on like mute and just have it in the background, it's something nice to look at. But I was never a fan of that movie. I actually like the animated one that just came out with Benedict Cumberbatch. I like that one a lot. Is that a nun pop in the back? Yes, it is. Let's see. So that's what it looks like. Yeah, they have like two versions of it. Let's see. Yeah, I'll fix it later. Let's see. No, everybody's calling now. But yeah, that's a nun pop in the back. Disney destroyed Star Wars. Um, it's not destroyed, but it's not in great shape. They, if the rumors I hear are true, things might start looking up. So, Skywalker saga is over. I think it's time to move on, and I think shows like The Mandalorian are doing a good job for that. But it's not in good shape. Oh no, Caleb unsubscribed because I didn't like Jim Carrey's The Grinch. Have I ever seen The Assassination of Jesse James? Yeah, I did see it. I liked it. It moved a little bit slow. It has a way bit of a slow burn, but I did like that one a lot. I wouldn't even mind a 4K edition for that. I would watch it again. But strangely enough, I don't own that one. Or do I? No, I don't own that one. I wouldn't mind seeing that again. It's been a while. Will they release the Star Wars on 4K with slipcovers? You can bet on it. Now they didn't really announce. So you normally when there's an announcement of titles for Blu-ray and 4K, I would do a video. And I'm going to do a video for that when they officially announce it. Right now, it just leaked on Best Buy, and it's not an official announcement. But, so there is a box set coming of all 9 films of the Skywalker saga. So we're getting the original trilogy, special editions, not the unaltered cut, and we're getting prequels and these films. So that is coming in a box set. That's the only thing that's appeared on like the Best Buy website, and also the 4K edition of Rise of Skywalker. They are going to release a normal editions of all these films. So we're going to get all of the 4Ks and slipcovers, and I would expect steelbooks also, and whatever Target does for special editions and so forth. So yeah, we are getting slipcovers for that. Do I think Jar Jar Binks can be redeemed? It kind of feels like people are kind of doing that. Honestly, I think while there's still some playful hate out there for him, I think there are bigger fish to fry as far as what people now focus on. So yeah, he's floating around out there. John asked favorite movie of 2019 and the decade. I'm going to be doing a decade video in 2020 early, so maybe in the first week or so, January. My favorite movie, I'm doing top 10 of that also. That's coming next week, but it's not a spoiler. If you've ever watched the channel, you know it's Avengers Endgame was my favorite movie of 2019. So Misa thinks he can. What 4-player would you recommend picking up? There's some good Panasonics out there now. There's a few Sony. I would stick, I think even Samsung has a new one. I was trying to find some of the newer players, and I would say the newest Panasonic is probably one of the best. I don't remember the model number off the top of my head, but it's like $400 or $500. And I would say absolutely you can't go wrong with Sony's okay. Not my favorite, but also I think the newest Samsung also does pretty well. Yeah, I think they're all going to be released. They're going to release the box set. Now, as far as the other films, it would be weird that they wouldn't do individual releases. They are going to do slipcovers. They're going to do steelbooks. So I expect as we get a little bit closer to that announcement date, that's when we're going to get. I just hope they don't pull a thing where they're going to be like, oh no, we're only doing it as a box set, and then like a year down the road, we'll do individual releases. That would drive me insane if they did that, and that's stupid. Just I think they're going to release all of them all at once. Oh yeah, that Panasonic is like 1,000. That's a little bit out of my price range, but that would be an amazingly epic player. Did I hear that Disney Plus allegedly doesn't use true HDR? I did hear that, and it is true that their nit level is incredibly low, but it's still an improvement over what we get as far as HD goes. Now, when we get those discs, as far as the physical release goes, you better believe I'm going to be A and B comparing those to everything, because that's one of the things. You don't really want to cheap out on the HDR and the Dolby Vision, because people like me and people like you guys are going to notice. When do I think that Lord of the Rings will get a 4K release? I did a video that apparently there was a leak saying that the restorations and they're going to be doing 4K scans of these. It may come this year, but I think next year, 2021, is probably closer to when we'll actually get them. Now, we're supposedly getting both The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogy, so that's going to be another pricey day. But I think I would say low chance 2020, high chance 2021. I think that those movies will come out. All right, so real quick, I want to announce the winner of the giveaway. Just one second, let me pull that up. Dun, dun, dun. I already have the winner selected, so one second. All right, so the winner that was selected randomly for this, the Kylo Ren Rise of Skywalker Funko Pop, is Cameron Morse. So congrats, Cameron. I don't know if you're watching, but if you see this video, get a hold of me. My email's in the show descriptions, and I will get this sent out to you. So congrats. And once again, guys, thank you so much for subscribing and being part of this channel. I can't believe I hit 3,000. That's amazing. That's awesome. And I can't thank you guys enough. So let's keep those numbers going up. And I just want to keep doing this. I really do. So your support just means everything. All right, so we're at 8 o'clock. Now, we're going to talk Rise of Skywalker spoilers. So I'm going to leave it to you guys to start asking questions, or I'll start talking about it. So if you're watching and you don't want us to be spoiled, then this is the time to bail. But let's talk about the movie. So let's hear thoughts. Let it go. Let's hear it all. The Ewoks are porgs? Porgs. Do I think The Mandalorian will get a Blu Ray or DVD release? I hope so. I would love it. If we just got Blu Ray, I'd be happy with that, but I would like a 4K for Mandalorian. I really hope we get it. I think we might. I kind of think we will. Why bring back Palpatine? Because they didn't have a plan. That's why they brought him back. Because JJ had a guy, he had Snoke. Rian Johnson comes out with no real direction and saying, hey, I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do. He kills off Snoke. Oh my God, now we have a problem. Who can we bring back that's easy and convenient? Let's bring back Palpatine. These guys didn't have a plan. And they've said that constantly on interviews and anything, like they didn't have an overall arc. Who does that with this property? That would, to me, in my opinion, be a fireable offense. If you don't have like your major property, like an overall plan for that, that's just crazy. Yeah, Palpatine died. He even said he died, but they don't explain how he came back. Apparently, we're supposed to think that if you're drawing a conclusion, that was not Palpatine that Vader threw into the pit in Return of the Jedi. That was a clone. If you're trying to get to that, like you have to put that together yourself, because they don't come out and say it, which is another irritating thing about Rise of Skywalker. They don't say that stuff. They're like, oh, we're just going to leave that to your imagination or something. Or we're going to put it in some obscure comic book like a year down the line. Come on. Yeah, they kind of did. They kind of made the Skywalker whole thing irrelevant. Like they were they really just kind of did that. They handed it all to Rey. Like, oh, that's the other thing. All right, let's spoilers, obviously. So Palpatine says, hey, you're going to kill me, and all my Sith energy and everything, all the Sith are going to flow into you. Oh no, that's a terrible thing. Rey still ends up killing him, even though it was done by his Force lightning. What's to stop him from now taking over her body, like he said he was going to? They don't explain that. Like, that's just bad writing. You have to, you can't rely on, and that's one of the things I feel Marvel is really smart on. You don't have to rely on, you know, stuff that may not even be part of your movie. Like, going back to Force Awakens, C-3PO comes out with a red arm. Okay, no explanation needed. I'm sure it's a funny story, and apparently it made a comic book. I'm never going to read the comic book. So why is it, I mean, stuff like that you've got to be careful with. And you can't just, you know, I know you want people to read your stuff and go and embrace your properties more outside of the movies, but don't leave lingering questions. Once again, a big one. How did Maz get the lightsaber? Not answered here. Not answered. It probably won't ever be answered. And crap like that is why people are mad. That's why they're mad. They're not mad because Rey is the hero, really. Yeah, she was handled badly in the first one. Totally agree. But you can't be like leaving too much out there for us to come to our conclusions and expect a big thank you for it. So, thoughts on the same-sex kiss scene? I'm fine with it. It doesn't bother me any. You know, it's not something that should be made a big deal of. It's just, it's two people, you know, it's the way it is. Is that a Moon Blu-ray on your shelf? That is a Moon 4K, yes. I did a review for that one a couple months ago. So if you want to hear my thoughts on it, that's you can check my video for that. My favorite sequel trilogy movie is The Last Jedi. Most will not agree. All right. I like a lot of things in Last Jedi. There's two things I don't. And I feel with proper guidance, for lack of a better word, or proper like directive from, hey, I don't know, Lucasfilm, you know, I think that a lot of that movie works. But there's just two things in particular that I don't really like. One is Luke's entire arc. I know he just did an interview recently kind of like defending that choice. And everything on Canto Bight. That didn't need to be there. That bogged the movie down, and it was just, it effectively just kind of put everybody in danger anyway. So, but it was just, you could have removed that entire sequence out, and I think the film would have been fine. I'm excited for the Obi-Wan series, especially since Deborah Chow, who I feel directed two of the best episodes in Mandalorian, is taking that series. I am so excited for that one anyway. But having her as a director, I have a lot of confidence that it's going to be good. I can't wait for it. Are you asking Caleb if what my thoughts are on Han Solo and Luke Skywalker returning? Luke, I kind of knew about. That was pretty much obvious. But Han's fine. I liked the scene, actually. It was a nice kind of flip on what happened in The Force Awakens. Intentionally, of course. It was fine. I kind of liked the scene. Well, that's what I'm saying about the answers to those questions. There's too many of them, and they're not going to be able to answer them in a movie or some kind of format. Once again, not everybody, a lot of the audience that go to see Star Wars are blissfully unaware of other things like comic books, novels, and, you know, video games and the Disney Plus. They just go to the movie. And one of the first things you got to realize is you've got to make, for a lack of a better term, you've got to make this accessible to everybody. And once again, the whole thing with the lightsaber and 3PO's red arm, apparently that was answered in a comic book. As I said, I'll never see that comic book. A lot of people will never see that comic book. but it kind of sticks out of the movie. So it's like, oh, I'm sure there's an interesting story there. Maybe 2 lines explaining about it. They don't do that. And it's just like the lightsaber. That was a big one. You can't leave that one as like oh, we'll answer it eventually. Sometime, maybe, in a very unsatisfactory way. I wish Palpatine was given more time to act like a lunatic, like he did in Revenge of the Sith. I did feel like his way melted. Yeah, that was cool, though. That was cool. Palpatine just felt like an afterthought, unfortunately. It was like, oh, Snoke is killed in Last Jedi. Oh, we have to come up with something. That's kind of how it felt. And, them telling us, like, oh, this was the plan all wrong. No, it wasn't. Come on. You've already said that it wasn't. And even what's-his-face, who directed Lost World, Jurassic Park, said that he was not part of his script. So how can it be part of your overarching plan if, your own director for that movie said no? So, no, he was never part of the movie. But it just felt like he was tacked on. Yeah, Deborah Chow is awesome. I cannot wait to see Obi-Wan. Kylo death had my theater laughing. Yeah, it kind of had mine too. And they were all like laughing at the kiss. They all laughed at that. My audience was full. Like there was a huge crowd in there. Only time they reacted was during that kiss, and the death scene seemed overly dramatic. It was odd. Like it was very odd choices right there. Yeah, I'm hitting the 70-minute mark. Yeah, I will say, okay, as much as I'm railing on the Palpatine thing, I think the lighting effect and the visual cues there were really good. It was nice, like they never really like focused on his face. It was all like under shadow, and it was like flashing strobe, and I enjoyed that effect actually. I thought that was kind of cool. Ray using force powers to pull a spaceship. There's precedent for that. I'm not gonna knock on that one too much because they did a cool thing in the no longer canon Star Wars Unleashed series where literally the guy pulled down a Star Destroyer. That was absurd, but it looked so cool. If you ever get a chance and you want to see it, just type in like Star Wars Force Unleashed, Star Destroyer, and that cutscene will probably appear. That was pretty cool. It kind of reminded me of that a little bit, but it didn't pull me out or anything. I bought that one. J.J. Abrams loves blowing up planets. And speaking of blowing up planets, so we go from Starkiller Base to kind of nothing in the Last Jedi, and he's now blowing up. Now, every Star Destroyer now has a Death Star weapon, and I laughed legitimately when they Independence Day'd that whole thing when the ship crashed into the laser. All of a sudden, the ship blows up. Just like in Independence Day when Randy Quaid is taking his plane and he goes right up into the main gun, and it just blows up. Oh, now we know how to take them down. Spread the word. I swear to God, I would have probably pissed myself if they said something like that, because that would have been hilarious. Because that's exactly what it was. Do I think that Anakin should have made an appearance? That would have been so much better than the voices because they were so indistinguishable. I can only catch a few. I knew I heard Ewan McGregor. I knew I heard Yoda. Samuel Jackson was definitely in there. And I think Qui-Gon was in. I know Luke was. But there were like 3 or 4 other voices. Like, I had no idea who they were. I think one of them was supposed to be Ahsoka, which, where did that come from? And it was, I think actual appearances, like, let's go to that scene for a second. So she's sitting there, she's hearing the voices, but then they like kind of appear behind her. That would have been amazing. I think that would have been a great scene. You could have had Anakin show up for a hot minute. That would have been amazing. But the voices were just, who could pick out who in that? Like, seriously. Will Rise of Skywalker Blu Ray have matching covers like the Blu Rays that came out in September? Uh, Knowing Disney, no. They won't be matching. In fact, if anything, they're going to do redos of those ones that came out in September. They're going to be different. So I think the ones that we got in September are just what we got, but the whatever's coming out in March, no, I don't think it's going to match, and that's irritating. Like, really irritating. Do you think we are running out of new actors? There's a lot of very old actors still making films. Should they stop? Um, I don't. I don't know. I know the cool thing to do now is um, kind of like everybody's coming back to their franchises to do one last. You know, like Stallone recently with Last Blood, which I'm not even convinced is going to be the last one. Um, you know, there's a lot of actors that are doing that. Some work, some don't. But I don't know. As long as the movie's good, I don't really care. You know, I know the next time we're gonna really see this is with Ghostbusters when Aykroyd shows up, Bill Murray's gonna show up, and I hope Ernie Hudson shows up. Unfortunately, Harold Ramis passed away, so yeah, it's kind of like another passing of the torch situation. But how do you feel about a lot of the 4K Blu-rays having insane amounts of digital noise reduction and removing most of the film grain? Terminator 2 is the worst example. That's why I don't own the Terminator 2 4K, because they apparently butchered that transfer. And it wasn't even a 4K scan. It was a scan from the 3D Blu-ray that was released a few years ago. So they need to restore that. I don't like when when they remove film grain from a film movie. Like, if a movie was filmed on film, that's grain. That's what it's supposed to do. And I know it seems to be like very popular now to have like grain versus clean. And I don't, it's completely crazy to me. I understand that when a movie's shot digitally, you don't get that inherent film grain, and that's fine. But you shouldn't remove film grain because you take away what made the film good. Now, there's things you can do to clean it up so it still has the film grain. Look at a movie like The Shining, still has film grain. It looks amazing in 4K. 2001, also another good example. It's just, you can do it without scrubbing it away completely, and you're just losing the integrity of the film. And it doesn't happen a lot, but when it does happen, don't be surprised if people call you out for it. So that's my thought on that. What's a 4K you want to come and out that hasn't been announced? The Abyss, the director's cut. I want that movie. It's only been available on DVD, never a Blu-ray. I want a 4K director's cut of The Abyss. That's still my number one. And my number two would be Heat. Like, I know there's a 4K digital, but I want a full like restoration, HDR, Dolby Vision on Heat as well. Have you heard about the Snyder Cut of Justice League? Yes, and I want to see it. I would love for it to happen. I don't know if we'll ever see it, or if it's just a lot of like just keeping your name relevant, kind of like with Snyder. But I want to see a Snyder cut of Justice League. I don't know if we'll ever see it though. I know Warner Brothers likes to say no, or oh, I don't know. It's confusing, but I want to see it. If I'm ever in the hospital, I will say I don't want any DNR. Yeah, DNR is terrible. John Carter, Heat was your first Blu-ray. Nice. That's still in my top two of all time is Heat. Something about that movie just works for me on every level. I love that movie. I want a 4K edition of that really bad. Mortal Kombat on 4K. Are you talking about the Christopher Lambert one? I would too. That is so cheesy of a movie. I saw that in the theaters, but I would love a new edition of that one. Are we ever going to get Spider-Man with Toby with slipcovers? Sony likes to reissue stuff all the time, so it'll probably happen at some point. Okay, celebrating your 3K subscribers, when did you post your first video, and at that time, how many subscribers did you have? My first video was, believe it or not, a shopping video. That was last year, 2018. That was the week Infinity War came out, and that was my first video. And at that time, I had 33 subscribers. Now, those 33 subscribers I wasn't posting videos. Like, I would occasionally post like a PlayStation video clip or something like that. But I never was like a channel at that point. I wasn't Movie Guy 365. It was just like, my name and whatever. And so that was the first one. I don't remember the exact date whatever that Tuesday was for Infinity War. So that was my very first video. So it's been over a year now. It's been over like a year and 3 months. So I'm glad I'm hitting 3K subscribers is awesome for me in that amount of time. Steelbooks or slipcovers? I guess prefer steelbooks. I usually, when one comes out, unless it's the ugliest steelbook I've ever seen, which actually happened a couple times in the last year, I will get a steelbook. I don't get steelbooks on everything, but like they do a weird thing. So when they released The Matrix, on 4K, it was in slipcovers. They didn't do steelbooks right away. It was like 3 months later, all of a sudden steelbooks were available. I still have the slipcover editions. I just can't justify double dipping just to get the steelbook editions. So, and then that causes some, mismatch on the shelf, but it's not a huge deal. Random thought, your thoughts on Dark City. I love Dark City. It's funny you mentioned that one because I have a wish list video for 2020 for movies I want to see on 4K. That is in my top 5. I love Dark City. I think that was one of my favorite movies of that year. What was that? 98? It was like came out right around when the first Matrix did. So it was like 98, 99. I loved that movie. It was a great, great sci-fi flick. Predictable, sure, but it was still like cool. And I want a 4K for that one. Even the director's cut, for the most part, I'm glad they took out the opening monologue. I think that definitely helped kind of, like, I felt it told you too much on the theatrical version of that, but the director's cut takes that out, which I really like. So I enjoyed that one. I think the HDR on that would look amazing. Let's see. By then, tell me if I'm not mistaken, by the time you have only been reviewing movies whenever they are releasing it, right? But what about the old ones? Yeah, that's something I want to fix. I really want to go back and start doing more other, like, older stuff, even on 3D and Blu Ray. I kind of want to do more older stuff. I started doing that more, I would say, the first half of this year. I was going back and doing like blind buys. I was going and doing old stuff. But then just once summer hit and all those new releases came out, they kind of went in the back burner. But I really want to get back to that. I'm really trying to do more reviews because there's going to be times when we have a slow week or something and there's not going to be anything new at the store, maybe one movie. So I want to be able to fill in those days with other stuff. So I do want to get back to older stuff. I've actually had quite a few people ask me to review the Men in Black trilogy back here, like this one right here. So I think that'll be the first one I do, but I really want to get back to that. Even though you collect Blu-rays, do you prefer watching movies at home or in theaters? Nowadays, I prefer watching at home. I'll be honest with you guys. So I don't know. I'm trying to think if I said anything on Twitter or Instagram. So when I went to see Rise of Skywalker, I went to see an RPX. Great, awesome. The RPX experience was terrible there at that particular theater. They didn't have the volume turned up, and the screen was very dim. Also, this was a sold out showing of Rise of Skywalker. Some guy, either on the left or right of me, had the worst body odor. It was terrible. Like, it was awful. I couldn't really focus too much on the movie because I'm constantly aware of the smell. For 2.5 hours, this is going on. So when I'm at home, I have a very decent home theater setup. I kind of like, I'm almost at the point where I just hate going to the movies because I'm dealing with cell phones, I'm dealing with people that are just inconsiderate, that are loud and talking. Like almost every time now that this is happening, I'm almost at the end of it because I'm really getting to the point where I really want to support movies, but I might just turn to the point where I just do like the big stuff and then don't go to the theater for the other smaller stuff. That's very counterproductive. I understand that, and that's really sending the wrong message. But I just can't stand it. Like I'm getting to the point where it's like, dude, take a shower or put your phone away or whatever. There was a guy in Rise of Skywalker that was filming the opening. Like people were yelling at him to put his phone away. It's terrible. Like it is really terrible. I don't know. It's just, what do you guys think about it? It's really getting bad out there. Alex Proyas is an awesome director. Yeah, but he really got nailed to the wall for what was it, Gods of Egypt, and I don't know. I enjoyed that one. I liked it. Thoughts on the original Alien? It looks gorgeous. Oh God, yeah, Alien's a classic. It looks beautiful on 4K. I reviewed that one. Did I review? Yeah, I reviewed that one. Looks beautiful. It's a good looking disc. Have I seen Knowing? I saw it. I didn't like it as much, but you know what? I might revisit that one. I saw that one when it first came out, and that was many, many years ago. Maybe it was just I wasn't open to it at the time, so I think I know it's on 4K also, so I may just wait for a really good sale on that one and check that one out again. What got you into collecting movies? I guess my dad, because he's always been into like collecting things like back in that day with VHS, and I kind of took that ball, and I love movies obviously. So as soon as I got older, I started collecting a little bit of VHS when I was a kid, but it never got to be a huge collection. But then I got into Laserdisc, that was a huge collection, and then just been on it ever since. DVD, Blu-ray, everything. So now it's like Blu-ray, 4K, 3D, a little bit of digital here and there, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess the long story short is my dad was a collector. What do you do with the on the back cover of the steelbook? Oh, the J cards. I used to save the J cards, but then they were just, it just looked too unseemly on the shelf. So I put most of them in like a box and just keep them out of sight. Yeah, that's brutal to smell at a theater. Ugh, you have no idea. And to add on to that story, as soon as I left, I could still smell it on my clothes because the seats are so just close together with everybody, and it just stunk really bad. And I just, as soon as I got, because I was in Ocean City at the time, so we were at a hotel, and I get back to the room, and I'm telling my wife, I was like, I'm gonna stink. I'm gonna tell you right now, I probably stink. I could smell it on me, and it's like I want to burn these clothes and just take a shower. And that was just like that's. But experiences like that are why I hate going to the movies. I just rather watch them at home. But there's just too much, especially with the smaller films or even some of the big budget movies. That's kind of a risk to just be buying blindly for everything and then hope you like it. Because there was a phase when I started doing that where just I wasn't going to the theater, and I just got everything as a blind buy. And I think there was like I was starting to get like bad, a lot of bad movies in my collection. And then I started going back. No problem, Rigoberto. Can you tell us a little bit of The Day After Tomorrow? It's a good that's a good action like Dean Devlin, Roland Emmerich flick. I like that one. I actually like a lot of their films. They're stupid, fun movies, but they're definitely home theater demo kind of thing. So if you got like a good disaster film, then those are the kind of movies they make, and I like those. So I hope that one gets a 4K release at some point. Will the theatrical cuts of the original Star Wars go on Blu Ray 4K? Magic 8 Ball says no. It's just whatever Lucas's agreement with Disney is. He really doesn't want them released. So, and Abrams even posted something that they said no for that. So I don't expect those. Your movie house is empty. If there are 10 people, it's busy. I wish I had that problem. I really do. Do you like Red Letter Media? They're the big movie channel I still watch. I honestly I don't look at other channels that much because I know look, I know there's other reviewers. I know there's other movie channels. Um, I used to watch a lot of stuff like that, but since I started my own channel and I started taking it actually seriously and wanting to improve it, I stopped looking at those channels because I don't want to. I want to be able to form my own opinion. I want to be able to review something without like a bias in the back of my head. So I know when it comes to like disc reviews, you got spare change is a big one and so forth. I used to watch those more, but I don't so much anymore because I want to be able to give an honest feedback and not feel like, oh, I'm liking it because this guy likes it, or I'm hating it because these people over here say it's bad. I want to be able to give you like guys my honest thoughts on something. So I don't want to. Basically, long story short is I don't want to be influenced. So that's why I just I don't really seek those out anymore. You're the go-to channel. Thanks, Raf. Appreciate that. I'm trying. I'm really trying, guys. So I'm always constantly looking for ways to improve and do things. Just evolve the channel more. Um, I did the whole thing. I got new intros and outros this past summer. I really like them. I think they're great, and I'm still evolving the channel. So little stuff like that, just sprinkled in here and there, helps with that. So, but your feedback is great. Any kind of feedback you guys give me, I listen to. That's another thing. I really try to talk in the comments as much as possible. So I don't when I go to other channels that are not movie or related or anything to that degree. I do read the comments, and the people that run the channel never really talk to the people or talk to anybody like that's bothered to leave a comment. I know I can't get to everything, but I try to go back. If you even a video I did a year and a half ago at the beginning, I still get comments on, which is my iTunes video. That's probably one of my higher uh, view counts as far as the channel goes. I still get comments on that, and I try to answer them. It's really I just believe in being engaging to the people that took the time to watch my video, and I try to get to everybody. So that's important to me, and it's just a shame that I feel a lot of YouTubers just don't do that, and it's like, why even have a comment section? Yeah, I heard that John Wick 4 and Matrix 4 are on the same. I talked about that earlier in the stream. I think it's fun. I think they're enjoying the publicity, but I think eventually one's going to blink and move out of the slot. There's just no way they're going to do that on the same day. It would be amazing. Unless they can somehow get Bill and Ted 3 to be the same day. That would be historic. It really would. It would be fun. It would be historic. But I think one's going to back off. Can you watch Can you imagine watching Doctor Sleep all alone in a really huge screening room? Not fun. When it's coming out in 4K Blu-ray. All right, so I was away on vacation. I'm just back today. You know, guys, I do normal announcement videos. That just got announced, I think, yesterday for Blu-ray 4K release. I think it is the first week of February. I'm going to do a video for that tomorrow. The official announcement for that tomorrow. It's coming with a 3-hour director's cut, which will be on the Blu-ray. The theatrical cut will be 4K. So that is coming. So look tomorrow for that video. I'm going to do the announcement for that. Does anyone ever see you filming in stores? Yeah, I'm sure employees watching me do it. But has somebody come up to me like or anything? There's only 2 times somebody came up to me. Both of them were employees. One was just asking what I was doing. I told them and they were cool about it. The second one was like not coming up to me because I was filming, but because they saw my shirt and wanted to talk about the character I had a shirt. It was one of the Green Lantern Corps. So we spent like 5 minutes just talking. But yeah, normally people just don't really care what I'm doing. I noticed you equalized or lowered the volume on the intro outro. It's good at the new volume. All right, good. Because I was really having trouble. I was trying to adjust it for a while, and I just couldn't get it because then all of a sudden it was like I really did an adjustment on the volume, and then when I re-edited it and put it out there, people were like, "Oh, it's still too loud." I'm like, I just lowered it like 50%, so I had to lower it again, and it seems like it's a more acceptable intro level. Will you be making top 10 movie lists for 2019, both for good movies and best 4K releases? Absolutely. Those videos are starting to. I was going to release the first one tomorrow, Sunday, but I'm just going to. I have way too many other videos this week to get to. So, right after Christmas, all my top 10 lists are going to start coming out. I have best of, I have favorites list, best looking 4K disc, worst looking, worst movies, disappointment movies, best steelbooks. I got so many top 10 lists in the next week and a half. Oh, sorry about that. Adam, for you being a YouTuber, vlogger, you really take many responsibilities of what your content is like. The language you use, having not to use bad words, that's great to see in you, for real. That's important to me. You know, look, when I'm off camera and stuff, I curse like crazy. I do, but I want these to be accessible to everybody. I know that there's a time and place for it, but using it on a public forum, I just feel like it's more respectful to do it. Just watch what I'm saying. Occasional ass or something will slip out or whatever, but I try to be responsible that way because I know the whole thing with COPA and all that other crap coming out, that's whatever it is, but I don't want to feel like somebody can't watch what I'm reviewing. So to me, that's important to just make it accessible. And I don't feel it's necessary to do in videos like this. But yeah, if we like talk in person, oh yeah, I'm going to be cussing like crazy. Have I done a movie room tour? I did one back on 1,000 subscribers. I'm gonna do another one at some point, but there's like I did all my collection vid and so forth and so on, and a little bit when I was reviewing my new TV. But room tour, I'll probably do a proper one at some point in the near future. But it just, you gotta save it for like little milestones and like that. So what else is going on, guys? Come on, ask me. You guys can ask me whatever you want. You want to talk about Star Wars? I know we were touching on the spoilers a little bit, but just we could talk about whatever. Infinity War or Endgame? Oh geez, that's like Sophie's choice right there. I don't know. I would say Infinity War is the better made movie, but I feel Endgame was the more satisfying one. Do I have a most anticipated movie for early 2020? Hmm. Well, it was Kong versus Godzilla, but that got delayed. I'm doing a most anticipated list in the first or second week of January, but I would say it's probably Black Widow and Wonder Woman are the two that I'm really kind of looking forward to in the first part of 2020. But there's a lot to look forward to in that whole year. Do I still have any DVDs? No, I don't. Um, Used to, but I don't know. They just take up a lot. There's a lot of room, and they don't look great on my OLED. I did have a DVD and tried playing it on the OLED several months ago. It just didn't look good. So I'm at that point where I just kind of I don't have them anymore. Bit off subject, but what gaming rig do you run, and would you review games along with movies? Um, I don't currently have a gaming rig computer that's on tap for 2020 to because I want to. I have an old one which unfortunately no longer works very well. So I do have a PlayStation 4 right now in the meantime. But when by right around the time PS5 and the new Xbox come out, I'm probably going to be investing in a new computer for just for gaming because when the next Skyrim or I'm sorry next Elder Scrolls comes out and Fallout, I like playing those games on a gaming rig. You know, modding is like big. As for reviewing, that's going to be a problem. Not a problem, but when you start like mixing a whole lot of different things into your channel, then it kind of gets diluted a little bit. I've seen other YouTubers that have tried it and it just they don't get views. The YouTube algorithm is just crap, stuff like that. Like even let's say I had 100,000 subscribers, and I've seen this on other YouTubers where they're like this topic, and then the second they do like something outside completely, they get like a quarter of the views, and I kind of want to just keep it movies. I might do a thing where excuse me where I might do something on a different channel, but right now I think it's just going to be movies. It's all in the title, you know. Will Scream Factory go to 4K? There's some horror franchises I want for 4K. It'd be nice if they did. It's kind of like I'm wondering if Criterion's going to do it. I keep hearing rumors they're going to, and but I don't know. I think Scream Factory. I could see it happening. I could see it happening. It may even be this year, but I haven't heard anything. But I would like if they did. I like the mystery window backdrop. Do not reveal during the tour. Okay. How do I feel about the 30 minutes of trailers before every movie? Really is getting on my nerves recently. They need to tone it down. Um, oh, I agree. Because, you know, this year I had the AMC pass to go to movies and the Regal pass. So I would naturally be seeing trailers all the time over and over again. Here's a good rule of thumb. Since you really have to just kind of, you've got a seat most likely reserved, you know, because they do that with, I would say, 90% of the theaters. I always show up about 20 minutes after showtime because if a movie's scheduled to start at 9 o'clock, it's not going to start until 9:30 because they got to show commercials, trailers. And now they've started inserting commercials during the trailers. So you just come in. I come in 20 after because the time is not set. It's usually at least 20, as much as 30. So yeah, that's kind of what I do now. I go 20 minutes after I'm at my seat by 20 minutes after the start time. You catch maybe one trailer, one and a half, and you're good to go. So good rule of thumb there. So why is there still no 4K Blu Ray of Lawrence of Arabia? I hear it's coming this year. That's one of the things I picked up on. I believe it is coming this year. So that's on my top 10 most wanted 4K editions is Lawrence of Arabia. But it's coming. It's coming. So what's with James Cameron and the Abyss? Um, it's coming. I don't know. Because apparently the colorist was working with James Cameron late, or no, I'm sorry, early this year. So Cameron came in and was supervising transfers of The Abyss and True Lies. That's the last I heard about it, and that was almost a year ago. So whenever it comes, that's still my number one. Is The Abyss director's cut on 4K. I want that one really badly, so hopefully it's coming sooner rather than later. Yeah, trailers do spoil too much these days. That's the Black Christmas remake. They spoiled the entire movie in that trailer. If I wasn't going to go see it before, I wasn't going to go then. Will Disney release the X-Men and Wolverine movies on Blu-ray box set? I don't know. I don't know. I know the Fox ones are currently out, and but I don't know if we'll get a repackage. Stranger things have happened, and they might do it at some point, but I don't think it's a priority for them, especially since the other editions are still out. Favorite sci-fi movie ever? I guess The Abyss, the director's cut of that one. I don't know. I just love that movie. I love that movie. And whenever I explain to them, like when somebody says, "Oh, I've never heard of that," and I explain to them, it's like they really want to see this movie. So I don't know. I enjoy that one. It's not high sci-fi, but it's got, especially that director's cut. It really fleshes it out, and it's a really good movie. What movie were you surprised the most by this year? I think Crawl was my big surprise for 2019. I didn't expect to like that. I didn't expect it to be good, and I found that to be a really enjoyable kind of thriller. And I think it was well done. It's a shame we didn't get a 4K release of that one, only digitally. But that was I think my big surprise of this year was Crawl. I know there's a couple others, but that was one of them. Disney going to release new Star Wars steelbooks? I would say yes. I think the box set was announced, or not. I keep saying announced. It wasn't actually announced. The box set for all the trilogy films is coming on the 31st of March. That's the tentative release date. I expect single releases and steelbooks. I would be amazed if they didn't do that, but I think that's going to happen. Will you ever do your top 10 favorite movies of all time? Oh yeah, I'll do that video at some point. Um, right now, because when I do my videos, it's not like I wake up one day and say, "Oh, I'm doing this video today." I have these things, like I do a lot of research, and I have these things planned out like months in advance. Now, sometimes things will come up. I have to put something in. I'll have to take something out, move something over, move something a month ahead. That happens all the time. I just finished my February schedule, but I guarantee that's going to change. It's going to be like something will get announced or something will have to be put into that place. But I have up till February roughly announced, and now I'm working on March. So I'm definitely going to do my top 10 of all time. I think that's something I really want to do. It's going to be sooner rather than later. It's going to be in the next few months. Should we assume 3D is extinct? Um, 3D is not extinct. It's doing pretty well internationally. It's just not here. It's kind of almost gone here. They don't even sell TVs right now that have 3D capability. So if you want 3D, you have to either have an older model, you have to get it used somewhere. VR apparatuses, that kind of thing, have it. The PlayStation VR has it. Um, Oculus, I believe, has the functionality for 3D. So it's still a lot. It's still out there, but you just have to really want the 3D, and you have to just get it, import most of your stuff internationally. It's not a big deal. Amazon UK, I would say, has about 90% of what I need whenever I need a 3D edition. So it's usually not a big deal. But I just got Midsummer on 4K. Now, they never released that here in the States. There's no 4K edition. I had to get that one from Italy just to have a physical copy of the 4K of Midsummer. So that also happens with 3D. Like, if you want the 3D edition of Ralph Breaks the Internet that came out last year, you have to order that from Japan. There's no other edition for that. And that one, I last time I checked, was like $70 because it comes in a 4K and a 3D combo pack. So it sucks, but they're still making them, is what I'm trying to say. When do you believe new release prices for 4K will drop, or 4K in general? They're not. I don't think it doesn't work that way. In all the years of the formats, the price will go up. Because for the longest time, Blu-ray was $20, and now a lot of the new releases are 23. If anything, it would go. You think it would go down, but it's just of course your local economy is going to be different, but 4K, your standard is going to be 25 to 30, 35 for a special edition steelbook or digibook from Target, but they're not going to go down. You just got to wait for sales. If you really want to just wait and the sales do come. So at least they seem to be doing those better. When the format first started, you never saw sales. Like, it was rare. But now, I mean, especially in the last, of course, the holiday season, things go on sale. But during the normal course of the year, you just got to be wary of those sales. Just wait, and if you have a price point, stick to it, and just wait for a sale. All right, it's getting on almost 9 o'clock. Anything else you guys want to talk about? Yeah, I hear what you're saying, John. That actually happened with the Midsummer 4K I was just telling you about. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Let's see. Oh, here we go. So this is the one I got from Italy, and as you can see, it's you get Midsummer, but then like the Italian title beneath it. So that doesn't really bother me too much. It's just I know what it is, and it's fine. But I understand what you're saying. All right. Any last questions, guys? What's going on? How many shelves do you have, and are you running out of room? I have these three here, and I have five more over there, and I have another bookshelf thing over there that I use for like my Marvel stuff. I'm not really close to running out of room yet. I've got a lot of room still to flex, grow on that, so I'm not really worrying about it. Um, have you seen the Apocalypse Now Final Cut? I have seen it, and I did a review on it, and it was pretty awesome. That may even make my list of best 4Ks for this year. That was an excellent looking transfer. I was very impressed by that one. You think the 4K Star Wars movies would come individually, not just a box set? Yeah, I would say so. Apparently, they're coming out at the end of March, and I would. That's just. Yeah, it would. I think they're going to come individually. I'm not worrying about that. Nothing's been uh, officially announced for those yet, or any of them. Technically, the box set's the only thing that's been kind of floated. But yeah, they're going to release those individually. I'm not worried about it. Do you go to any cons? I absolutely do. I was just at New York Comic Con this past October. I had a great time. I saw actually I actually saw like subscribers there, and that was a really surreal feeling because people came up to me and they asked me if I was movie guy 365, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like, I'd never had that happen before. That was really a cool feeling, and it was just, if you guys are watching, hey, what's up? Um, but yeah, I like Comic Cons a lot. I don't go to nearly as many as I used to. I used to hit all the local ones, so I kind of stayed myself for the big ones. So yeah, like New York Comic Con's a good one. I'm really want to try to hit San Diego in the next 2 years. Really want to do that one, but yeah, I love cons. Speaking of Apocalypse Now, didn't Ad Astra remind you a little bit of it? Yeah, it did. It did. It had that feeling to it, and it had a lot of this very similar story beats. But I mean, if we're really gonna to compare them, it's a poor man's Apocalypse Now. But yeah, I mean, it was an okay movie. It's an okay movie for what it is. I still think that the third act is a bit goofy, but you know, it's fine. And it actually looks really good on 4K. Do you collect any anime? No, I don't collect any anime. I feel like I missed the boat on that one when I was younger, and it would be overwhelmingly daunting to try to get into that now. It's just time, you know, it's just time, and there's so many other things I like. I actually do appreciate the anime culture. I really do. It's like it would just be a lot to get into now at this point in my life. Matthew says, just wanted to say thanks for all the content. Really enjoy your videos and have made a lot of purchases based on your recommendations. Oh, dude, that's why I do it. I mean, I'm very grateful for guys like you and everybody that supports me, and I'm glad I do something you enjoy. That really means a lot to me. Let's see here. Still rocking my 1080p Blu-ray since I can't afford 4K. You know what? Go for it, man, because the Blu-rays still look amazing. I just did that video why I still love Blu-ray. I think as a movie collector, I'm not a dedicated 4K collector. I'm not a dedicated Blu-ray collector. I collect movies, and it doesn't really matter what format it's in. I still love everything. I still have way more Blu-rays than 4Ks at this point. So, hey, Blu-ray looks amazing. It still holds up really, really nicely. Favorite Star Wars character? Somebody asked me that earlier. It's Darth Vader. I I'm a Vader guy. I like Vader. All right. Anything else? I'm gonna probably call it a night. If anybody else has any other questions. Oh, and I also want to take a chance to say congrats to Cameron Morse again for winning the Funko Pop, the Kylo Ren, Rise of Skywalker version. Get a hold of me. There's an email address in the description of any of my videos. So just get a hold of me that way. I'll get this thing out to you. But congrats. Thanks you so much for being a subscriber. And thank you to everybody for being subscribers. That's really cool. And I'm really going to try to do more giveaways. Usually I do digital codes, but look for more of those in the coming weeks. Yeah, I ranked the Star Wars movies already. I did a video like 2 weeks ago. I did rank all the Star Wars movies. So just go to my channel page. It's down there. It's only like I said about 2 weeks ago. Maybe it was the when was it? No, but it's just like less than 2 weeks ago. So yeah, I did all the rankings. Have I seen Dawn of the Planet of the Apes? Oh yeah, I've seen all the Apes films. Absolutely. Are there any series you follow? Like what series? What series? Streams are really fun. Please keep doing them in the future. I'm gonna try. I'm really gonna try. I know my weekends get a little bit busy, and it's also really like also a lot of my downtime because I do a lot during the week. not just here, but life stuff. And weekends, if I can, I like to do streams at whenever possible. So I'm really gonna try to do more. Oh yeah, Game of Thrones, Walking Dead. Yeah, I watched all the Game of Thrones. I recently stopped Walking Dead. Just got too silly in my opinion. I watch a lot of TV. I do. There's a lot of shows I do watch. Mandalorian's amazing. I really enjoyed that one, and I'm just getting ready to start a few new shows. But I seem to be going more towards like what HBO puts out. There's Netflix. Like I'm just getting ready to start The Witcher. I'm probably gonna start the first episode of that tomorrow. But yeah, there's a lot of shows I watch. I never saw the final film, but I saw a few video people, and the new film was too fast and was a flop. I heard Star Wars flopped in China. Star Wars has always flopped in China. I don't know why that's even a headline because it never does good in China. Like they didn't grow up with the original trilogy because back when the original trilogy came out, China was not having any Western whatsoever influence. So those movies never gripped anybody at any generation in China. So whenever like any of the new movies debut in China, they do bad. I mean, that's just. But they seem to be making a big deal about this one bombing in particular. But they all do. Like, make no mistake, Star Wars never does good in China. What cartoons you liked as a kid? Darkwing Duck was one of my favorites, but I was a little older. I wasn't like a kid at that time, but I was like what 15 when that came out. Um, and along the same lines, like Gargoyles was one of my favorites. But when I was younger, big Looney Tunes fan, like Bugs Bunny stuff, Tom and Jerry, He-Man, Transformers, G.I. Joe, those kind of things. Going back to anime for a second, like I really liked Robotech. I thought that was a good show. And then just yeah, those are the kind of things I watched when I was a kid. Am I excited for Black Widow? I'm very excited. I'm excited to see that. I'm excited for another trailer. I want to check that out. Also excited for Wonder Woman. I think that one looks really good. I think that's going to have a lot of potential to it. All right, guys, last chance. Any other questions? And I'm going to call it a night. Yeah, 1917 looks really good. I'm going to do a review for that one when it comes out. Paul says, haven't seen Mr. Rogers yet. Will that be a water in 4K? Are you talking about the Tom Hanks one? I saw that one. It was good. It was a lot of good. It was surprising. All right, guys. I think I'm going to call it a night. Once again, thank you so much. Just it means a lot to me that you're continuing to support the channel. I'm very grateful. I really am. And please just, keep those likes and, tell your friends, subscribe and all that stuff. And I really appreciate it. I love doing the channel and I want to do more live streams also. So thanks again and congrats to our winner for the Kylo Ren Funko Pop. Get a hold of me in the email in the description of the videos. So, all right, guys, you have a good one and I'll see everybody later.